नमस्कार, एक बार फिर आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है हमारे उस विशेष कार्यक्रम में जिसका सीधा प्रसारण आप देख रहे हैं देश की राजधानी पर, दुनिया के सर्वश्रेष्ठ नेटवर्क पर, जिसका नाम है दूरदर्शन। आज आपको दो छोटी सी बातें बनाना चाहता हूं। एक का मैं खुद चश्मदीद गवाह था। लगभग 18,000 फुट की ऊंचाई है, तापमान 0 से 18 डिग्री कम है, बर्फ पड़ रही है और एक ट्रक सड़क पे फंसा हुआ है क्योंकि बहुत जबरदस्त स्नोफॉल हो रही है और केवल 6-7 इंच बचे हैं। अगर ट्रक ड्राइवर जोर लगाता है तो खाई में गिर पड़ेगा। तो एक वहां पर बुलडोजर आता है, स्नो को साफ करता है, ट्रक को खींचकर सड़क के बीच में ले आता है। इससे पहले कि मैं उतर कर धन्यवाद कर सकता, यह कहानी है खाडुंगला पास की, द हाईएस्ट मोटरेबल रोड इन द वर्ल्ड। ये जवान अपने बुलडोजर में चला जाता है। दूसरा, हाल ही में हमारे देश के एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत इलाके में जबरदस्त भूकंप आया। लोगों ने कहा कि 1 हफ्ते 2 हफ्ते के लिए अब सड़कें बंद रहेंगी, नहीं खुल सकती, लेकिन कुछ ही घंटों में इन्होंने सड़कें खोल दी और राहत वहां तक पहुंची। ये हैं सड़कों के सरताज, ये हैं बहादुरी के बादशाह, द ऑफिसर्स, द मेन एंड वुमेन, द सुपरमैन एंड सुपर वुमेन ऑफ द बॉर्डर रोड्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। आज हमारे साथ स्टूडियो में हमारे विशेष मेहमान हैं लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल एस रविशंकर, डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ द कोर ऑफ इंजीनियर्स एंड कर्नल कमांडेंट ऑफ द कोर ऑफ इंजीनियर्स, डायरेक्टर जनरल बॉर्डर रोड्स। Lieutenant General S. Ravishankar, first of all, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to be with us, and through you, may we say how proud we are. कितना गर्व है हमें उन सब पर, all those men and women who work in remote areas, जो अपने आज का बलिदान देते हैं ताकि हमारा कल सुरक्षित हो. Well, tell us, how does it feel to head the Border Roads Organization?
One feels proud to head the border roads at a time like this.
इतिहास क्या है बॉर्डर रोड्स का, कितना पुराना है?
The border roads was started in 1960. It was the vision of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Because of all the problems that were happening on the other side of the border in China, all the construction, we felt we must do something. And that is how the idea started. So they had the Border Road Development Board made, and we had an engineer officer who was to be the executive of the Border Road Development Board, and he had the BRO under him. Initially we started with whatever we got from the army, and later they raised the GREF, that is the General Reserve Engineer Force, an idea which was taken from the World War II, where these people had been recruited and put under army rule to help under the Army Act, to help the army make roads into Burma. So the same concept came here. So we had civilians in uniform under the Army Act working shoulder to shoulder with the army, and that constituted the Border Road Organization.
अब जब से शुरुआत हुई है बॉर्डर रोड्स की, आपने लगभग 50,000 किलोमीटर सड़कें बनाई हैं, 12,000 पर आप अभी काम कर रहे हैं। रेगिस्तान में काम करते हैं, जंगल में काम करते हैं, पहाड़ों पे काम करते हैं, डर नहीं लगता?
काम करते समय किसी को डर नहीं लगता, जब काम नहीं करते हैं तब डर लगता है।
Wonderful. खाते क्या आप लोग? I mean, what is it that keeps you going? Why are you there? Why are you there at 20,000 feet, 18,000 feet, रेगिस्तान में, जंगलों में? Why?
What is it that keeps us going? Spirit maybe, that keeps you warm, that keeps you going.
The spirit inside here.
The spirit.
बहुत ही अच्छा। आप लोग भूटान में हैं, अफगानिस्तान में, म्यांमार में हैं, ताजिकिस्तान में, और आप इस समय देख रहे हैं टेलीविजन स्क्रीन पर कितनी जो सड़कें आप लोगों ने बनाई हैं, कितनी कठिनाई से आप इन सड़कों को देख रहे हैं। बॉर्डर रोड्स ऑर्गेनाइज, जिनको आपने बनाया है। टेल अस, हाउ डिफिकल्ट इज इट टू वर्क एट ह्यूज एल्टीट्यूड?
It's a challenge to work at these altitudes because you're going to places where nobody has ever been. In fact, the strength of the Border Road Organization is that we work departmentally. We do the work ourselves. And if at all we take help of contractors, it is to help us with our work.
कितने लोग काम करते हैं आपके साथ?
Our workforce is about 35,000.
ये रेगुलर है?
These are regular.
जी.
And then we have a lot of CPL, casual paid labor, almost 1 lakh, whom we hire on a yearly basis, And many of them come to us every year and work with us in all these difficult places.
जनरल साहब, आपने खुद भी तो काम किया होगा ना, एट एन अर्लियर लेवल यू वुड हैव वर्कड समवेयर इन सम डिफिकल्ट कंडीशंस, मेकिंग अ रोड. कुछ याद है आपको जहाँ पे बहुत मुश्किल था और आपको लगा मैं कहाँ फंस गया?
ऐसे तो कभी नहीं लगा कि कहाँ फंस गया. But yes, I have been through very difficult places.
Talk to us about it.
Maybe about Somalia, I was telling you just before this. There I was a chief engineer, and we had to connect all the roads that had never been maintained for a long time. And as a chief engineer, I had a contractor to work with, an American contractor, and I would task him and he would do the work. But the interesting part was that in Somalia, they found their style of working really didn't work. And I was the one giving them tips, going through my handbook, engineering handbook, because there was more in the Indian civil engineering handbook that applied in Somalia than what they could do. And I think the best compliment was when I was leaving, the contractor came and said, Colonel, could I request you for something? I said, what is it? Can I have your civil engineering handbook? I thought that was a great compliment for Indian engineering. But all the while it was a challenge because we were improvising, and we got a lot done.
भारत में जहाँ जहाँ आप तो विभिन्न प्रांतों में, you know, in many of the states you are working, are there some that are more difficult than others? I mean, is it desert में मुश्किल है, जंगल में मुश्किल है, पहाड़ियों पे मुश्किल है? What is the most difficult, or are they all equally difficult?
If it is not difficult, the border roads is not there. There are others doing the job. It is only when others are not doing the job, the border roads are doing it. So if it is in the deserts, you have stretched out to the furthest areas where nobody is there. If it is the hills, the mountains, I mean, the last 50 years is history. The entire development in those areas have come up, I can say, thanks to the border roads. Very recently, I had gone for the Golden Jubilee at Bhutan, and everyone from the king, the prime minister downwards had no hesitation in saying that the growth in Bhutan is thanks to the border roads. They said this, and they said the best ambassadors of the country were the border roads.
Wow. लगभग 500.
I like to say that to somebody from the
जनरल साहब, लगभग 500 awards मिले हैं bravery का, almost 500 to the border roads.
And 70% are gallantry.
And 70% are gallantry. अभी जो आपके जो लोग हैं जो काम करते हैं, बहुत कठिन परिस्थिति में काम करते हैं. हमने देखा है यहाँ मेमोरियल बना है, इतने लोग मर गए, वहाँ बना हुआ है, प्लाक लगी है कि इतने लोग शहीद हो गए. Have you really lost a lot of people in the course of keeping our borders secure?
हाँ, काफ़ी लोग बॉर्डर रोड्स में काम करते करते मर चुके हैं, शहीद हो चुके हैं. Even today, it's almost one a day. But then the work demands it, and it is not as if somebody is forcing them to work. They're working because the work is real, and there are so many around you who want that work done as quickly as you can. So I guess it's a kind of commitment that comes with just the people around you.
आप मोटिवेट कैसे करते हैं लोगों को? जनरल साहब, you are obviously a motivator. You know, 35,000 people. What do you tell them? Go out there, guys, and give me this road. क्या कहते हैं आप उनसे?
No, I think it's in what I just said. The motivation are the people around you. And very frankly, they really carry you wherever you are. You go to any state, it's very easy for a border roads man to go and talk to the chief minister, to the governor, because they realize that whatever is happening in those areas, the border roads is always there. And this is so with every village, with every sarpanch, with every person around. So there is a kind of an attachment, I think, which motivates people. I don't have to do much, let me assure you.
That's your modesty, General Ravi Shankar. लेकिन मैंने देखा था ग्रिफ के जो आप बता रहे थे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पे जो आप लेबर को लेते हैं वो बॉर्डर एरियाज में इन द नॉर्थ ईस्ट और इन लेह लद्दाख इन कश्मीर ये लोग आते हैं झारखंड से बिहार से. So I mean that really proves that we are one, right? And from one part of the country to the other. I mean you are there from the north to the south.
Yes.
From the west to the northeast.
Yes, we always proudly say that we are deployed from the westernmost tip to the easternmost tip, from Indra Col to Indra Point, and Indra Point is the
deep south,
the southernmost point of the country, and we have a task force making a road from Campbell Way to Indra Point today. So that is the spread. We are spread over so many states, and I think the composition is also from all states.
Okay. सिक्किम में जो हाल ही में भूकंप हुआ, some lives were lost and the country shares the grief of the people of Sikkim. जनरल साहब वहाँ पे जब आपको खबर मिली, will you walk us through, will you remind us of what happened जब पहले आपको पहला टेलीफोन कॉल आया या समाचार मिला कि वहाँ पर जबरदस्त earthquake आया है, then what?
The immediate reaction was to speak to the chief engineer. And he was not in Gangtok, he was in Calcutta. And we knew the earthquake had taken place, and there was very little information flowing in.
Is this some of the damage we are seeing from the earthquake?
Yes, these are damages in the houses. But the damages on the roads were more severe, because generally the houses there are lighter in construction.
तो फिर आपने जब कांटेक्ट किया वो कलकत्ता में है आपके चीफ इंजीनियर, फिर क्या हुआ?
As far as the others were concerned, all the communications were down. So we had to wait for information. And then immediately we got through to Gangtok and we said, try and get as much information as you can. So there were people sitting together, gathering information. And then we started getting news in tricklets. Landslide here, landslide there, shooting stones still shooting. What can you do? We can do nothing till the slide stabilizes. So there were clear instructions, do not try to do anything till the shooting stones stop. And there the people were waiting, collecting information. And about 4 in the morning, it was not my orders, it was not the orders of the chief engineer, because he was somewhere in the train out of communication. It was not the orders of the task force commander, because he was stuck between 2 landslides. But at 4 in the morning, every dozer operator was automatically moving towards whichever landslide he could go to. And this was happening at every level, and it was something which really came to me as very revealing. The initiative at all the levels. We had learned from last year's cloud bursts, and we had placed our dozers, spaced them along the road against what we call landslide points, and I think this helped a great deal. So at 4 in the morning they started, and everybody was tackling whichever landslide was close to them, and they were all converging, moving towards the center.
ये individual initiatives लिया, they were trained so that जब ऐसी परिस्थिति हुई तो तुरंत they swung into action.
They swung into action. And in the morning, when I got a call from the Home Ministry, how much time? I said 48 hours. So that was the closest I could get. By about 9 o'clock, I was saying 4 in the morning, 4 in the evening. And at 1 o'clock, I got a call that the road is open. Through.
Wow.
So it was something amazing. I mean, I haven't seen such an action happen anywhere in my